We're adjusting the green screen a little bit at a time here. We're over here on Day 9 TV, where we learn to be a better green screener. I adjusted the lights so they're more pointed.
It is on.
They're more pointed inwardly. Let's see here. I'm going to do something like this so I can shoot a motherfucker who comes down here. Oh no. Oh. That is a... I do not like that. That should shed some light on the issue. Yeah, it looks better. Let's go ahead and get this one out. Boom. What are my thoughts on the Panama Papers? Shit, that is really damn bright. Ugh. We're gonna have to readjust these for Dark Souls tomorrow. New York Souls. Oh, actually, I have an idea. Excuse me, Sheriff. He's a good kitty. So if I do this, and then I bring this inward. Ooh, that might actually... Zach. Let's see what we get. Duplicato. Hi, my name's Harrison. I'm Harrison Jones. Hi, I'm like really happy to be here. Can't wait to get 2 Harrison Jones. It's gonna help a ton. Ugh. Yeah, the Panama Papers are interesting.
That belongs in a
For any of you who are unfamiliar, let me share with you my poor plebeian understanding of the Panama Papers, which is essentially that there are many essentially legal ways to hide your revenue as not being revenue. So, like, for instance, let's say I'm a company and I earn $1 million in profit. Excuse me, I earn $1 million in profit. All sorts of other sweet stuff's happening. Really excited.
That belongs in a museum.
What I'm not excited about... this was such a lucky rip, is the fact that I gotta pay taxes on that $1 million. Maybe my company only gets to keep 600,000 of that $1 million. And so what happens? Well, if I took that $1 million and reinvested it into something, such as, say, research, if I did a little bit of research... No. Ugh.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Okay. If I took that $1 million and I reinvested it in, say, some sort of cool project at my company, all of a sudden that $1 million that was profit isn't profit anymore. So, hey, wait a minute. I no longer have to pay taxes on it. I am reinvesting in my business. I did not make money this year. $0 in profit. So what some people did is they said, wait a minute. What if what I did is if I took this money and invested in a false company that then provide a way for the money to get back to me. What is this card? Oh my gosh, I don't know even. I don't want to do this.
I wonder.
So I'll do this first. Awesome.
Someday I'll be just like you. Me?
Yeah, so what if I took that $1 million and invested it, or went to some offshore place where there's a whole bunch of them that basically specialize in incorporating shell fake companies that don't do anything except serve as a way for me to take my $1 million and reinvest it into this fake company, which will then give me the opportunity to get my money back at a much discounted rate, mind you.
You want it? I got it.
if I'm gonna win this, it would be via the card advantages. So this is probably a counterspell. So I'm gonna shoot this first. No. Apply some sort of duplicate. You're killing it, man. And so, I mean, it's like money laundering, right? It's like I invest my money so it comes back to me, so I don't have to pay taxes on it. So it was once upon a time a $600,000 profit has turned to $1 million profit. So I printed $400,000. Got it. We're crushing it. And so, I mean, it's one of those things that brings into question this idea of the unfairness for the poor versus the unfairness for the poor versus the rich, where if I'm someone who's just a working person who's earning $50,000 a year and I'm paying a substantial portion of my income, we'll call it a third for rounding purposes. I'm paying like a third of my money to my government in taxes. Just makes it pretty hard, right? A third of $50,000 is a lot of money for a person. And then when suddenly you have a whole bunch of people who would be paying $400,000 in taxes to their government, and then they don't, two things happen. I guess this is my shitty plebeian understanding. I'm not an expert on this by any means. Two things happen. First is that people like me go, oh, that's unfair. I hate that, right? And it just makes you angry because it feels rigged against you. But the second thing that I think is very materially significant. Get out there. Is that if all these wealthy people aren't paying billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars in taxes, suddenly a government is billions of dollars short. And so it makes people go, wait, does that mean they're going to tax the little guy in order to make up for the money that the rich guy isn't paying? Which is an awfully reasonable sounding concern. I hope he plays a little dude and then a big dude. Or no dude at all. Dude! Turns out it was $32 trillion. Oh, isn't that sad? His attack. And so that's my understanding of like the general offshore money account situation. This deck. My understanding is that the Panama Papers essentially revealed a shitload of people. A shitload of people participating in this. Important people. Was it the Prime Minister of the UK? God, I hope that's... I'm like slightly embarrassed that I don't actually know who the Prime Minister of the UK is.
Jaina versus Uther. I will fight with honor.
You asked for it.
So I want to keep the Flame Waker since we're up against a lot of Sequit Paladins. No, I know the Prime Minister of Iceland resigned, but former Prime Minister David Cameron, that's what it is, David Cameron of the UK. Current former? Is he current former? I'm just rereading something from chat. Oh, yeah, no, he's the PM? God, I'm very embarrassed that I don't know this. I feel like that's one of those things that if you are a member of the world, you should kind of be aware of the presidents of countries and the capitals of countries and where all the countries are. Death to the Pretender! Thoughts on Yogg Saron? It's... I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna run Yogg. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna do that. But at the same time, I was sort of like, you know, it's like a Super Timmy card. Can you imagine like a Miracle Rogue where you just bash that fucker down on turn 10? Yogg Saron reads, cast random spells for each time that you previously cast a spell this game. Ooh, baby. Okay, let's do it. I mean, Yogg Saron is basically like the casino of all casinos, right? It's just like, run this out, disregard everything else. Oh, that one's gonna be a problem for me. And then I'll Shadow Step Yogg Saron, that's what I'll do. At least we have a turn 7 plan. Oh yeah, I didn't even say what my thoughts on Panama Papers were. I really, truly am not entirely sure how to even state what I feel about it is, because, like, I mean, it... kind of like I was saying earlier, it feels pretty unfair. Like, I actually am a pretty big believer in taxation in general. I like the idea of taxation. That pleases me a lot. And every time I'm just out and about, I look at... This deck still exists, doesn't it, man? Fuck. Oh, man. No. Oh, I'm getting a fever. Oh, that's so... and that's sad. But yeah, I'm a relatively big believer in taxes. Like, anytime I'm driving on a road...
You win this.
My streak. Anyways. Anytime I'm driving on a road, I just look at the road and I think, I'm so glad that I don't have to participate in the creation of this. It's just there. Like, I really like just looking at things like, hey, look at these lights that are around me. And the fact that there is a public service in support of this. I'm gonna want more units. I like the idea when I'm driving somewhere and there is a police officer, I think, hey, I don't even have to participate in anything that's trying to keep, yeah, they always have it, trying to keep this, you know, my area safe. I don't have to, like, be part of a militia. I like the idea of me getting to focus on only what I want to focus on, and for kind of the rest of stuff to just be taken care of for me. Obviously within reason, right? I'm not trying to claim where that line is. I'm simply trying to claim that I like that idea. Like, at work, it's really nice to have people I work with who can just crush hard tasks without me even having to be involved, where I'm like, hey, actually, I should run out of counterspell. I can just say something, like sit next to Tristan, I'm like, Tristan, this is an issue, figure it out. And he's like, alright, on it. He just goes and figures it all out. All by himself.
Just like you.
Isn't that nice? I like this division of labor. It's so cool. And I love the idea of this just in all sorts of places. Like, anytime I've ever had a work task that needed like 4 or 5 people, and it started out as just me, it was such an incredible relief to just have someone else doing it. Like, let's see, I do want to... I want to do that. Yeah, and so, like, I'm just a general favor of the idea of taxation. See ya. And so, I always feel a little weird when there are all these weird ways to get around just paying taxes. Like, there's a lot of weird things where if I just fill in certain checkboxes when I'm doing taxes, it's just like, I don't have to pay as much. And I don't know what to think about when that happens. Where I'm just like, well, I guess since I don't have to, I won't. But, I mean, I would be fine if I were taxed more. Let's see here. He is pretty damn low, so I think that if I do this...
You require my assistance.
This, I think, has a really high chance of just living. This will probably kill this. I'm feeling it. Oh, not today. Not today. But he's used the slam and execute. Well, I know how this turn's gonna go. Ooh.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Aha!
To be honest, I want to get one of these in there. Oh, that's so filthy. Nah, let's do this.
Battle!
To battle! Alright. Fireballs for days.
Welcome to the grand tournament, champion.
It's gonna hit that one. I can get one. Not gonna make this any more expensive. Oh, oh, that's so dirty. Let's put that one in there. I'm gonna go ahead and build my board with 5 fireballs in hand. I sense that this will be a difficult one for him to win. Well, I wasn't expecting Deathwing, that's for damn certain. Let's go ahead and get this one out. Let's shoot that one. And we're probably gonna lose the 4/4 here. You have to be a little careful for sure. then I think we still have lethal next turn, right? Because we have 14, and 4 is 18. And then another 9 is 27 from heaven. Could be bad. I'm gonna do this first. Holy shit, I'm lucky. You get a mirror entity and a duplicate. So unless he just has like Gromash and a face bash. Seven and 7 is 14. 4 is 18. That's 19. I really hope. Missed 1 damage. Not a guaranteed 1 damage because it could have just killed my dude. Sucks a lot. Okay. And this is a counter spell as a mirror entity. this guy might win. Hold on, hey. Do any paper cuts in your life that you just need to rant about? Not really. Oh, life's pretty good. Ooh. I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna draw a spell off the top. Ah, dude, he probably has Gromash. Oh man.
I wield the power of black.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get this one in.
I wield the power of black.
Oh my god, we did it. We got him out. Bakotaka says, do you get any nervous energy when you're about to present a topic? If so, how do you help channel that energy? I mean, I certainly do. Like, for instance, there was recently, I was asked about the Overwatch butt pose thing. It's a very emotionally charged topic for a lot of people, so I got a little bit like, oh. And you totally saw me do that. I went, whew, this is an emotionally charged topic.
You asked for it.
But I will describe my approach there is that I think it is important to be comfortable with uncomfortable feelings. Not necessarily to try not to feel a little nervous, but just to sit with that and to be okay with that. To be like, yeah, I'm going to talk about this because I want to talk about this, and I will feel a little nervous, and I'll just push through it, and we'll just do it, man. It's just nervousness. It's just a physiological response happening in me. It is not in charge of me. It's not often I have a 5-6 out on turn 2. It is not often that I have that out then. Kill and execute? we might actually get to dig deep here, man. I have always wanted this card to just work, you know what I mean? War Chief! Smorgasbord Chief! I'm gonna ping this one. So he has a Corkron Elite, so I'm going to estimate that he's something... No, if he has this, I'm not sure what he is. He could just be like a Patron Warrior that's running those. This is a good one. As much as I wanted Echo of Medivh out, I think that this is going to be better. This could also be a little bit of a Reno.
I can take the hit.
I have a lot of choices here. I could just fireball this and then keep playing stuff. That's actually... Is that the most pleasing thing to me? Out the two secrets and just hit the face. Yeah. Alright. Are you sad that Echo Medivh, Mad Scientist, Explosive Sheep are leaving, thus making Echo Control no longer too viable? Dude. I'm happy to see him go. I think there needs to be some more shake-up, some more veritable insanity in there. What up?
I can take the hit.
I mean, we were really close to the lethal. I think we actually draw here, right? So if I do this, because it's 15-16, I'll flip it. This deck. Good old tempo. Yeah, there needs to be some more change up and happening. I think standard, standard saves so many problems for Hearthstone. Like, so many struggles for Hearthstone. Because they can afford to do a lot more interesting and crazy things, given that restriction.
I will fight.
Comes to Sherman says, you mentioned that the new set hasn't really tickled your deck building fancies so far. Can you elaborate? Yeah, I don't see anything that makes some sort of particular combination like stand out for me or click for me. I guess this is fine. Like, I'm going to take Echo of Medivh. Echo of Medivh is a card that, first of all, fundamentally depends upon other cards. It says, put a copy of each creature you control on the battlefield into your hand. So right away, it's like, hey, well, what would I have on the battlefield then? Maybe I blast out a bunch of aggro decks and use Echo of Medivh to reflood my hand. Echo Medivh, oh my god, with Mountain Giants. Oh, that could be very interesting, right? Just like ideas start to just flood out of my head. I think I'm okay with this. Yeah, ideas just start, like, happening. There's a number of other cards in Hearthstone that have sort of, like, tugged at this, like, interaction thing. Or even Shadow Push. It is fundamentally changing the shape of how you play. a certain card. Or excuse me, a certain class. So immediately it's like, oh, interesting. How would I... Actually, I know what I'm gonna do. First gonna do this. Get this one in there. I'm just doing it, man. Yeah, like Shadow Form completely changes the identity of Priest. Oh my gosh, so it makes me want to really explore that sort of thing. I really have not had as much of that sensation when looking at the
Want it?
more recent cards. Yeah, this is gonna be really good.
Play ball.
Yeah, so I just haven't seen a lot of those in Whispers of the Old Gods. Unless there is... Oh yeah, I remember what I was saying. Like, for instance, the Cthulhu, or even Yogg that was announced today. I mean, that's like an interesting card. But I don't... God, that's so dirty. I don't necessarily know if there is...
Play ball.
I don't know if there's anything necessarily interesting that I would do to build a deck around that I can plan. Like, sure, I can go Miracle, but why put the gamble on Yogg Saron? I mean, like, maybe it is truly a win condition card? Like, I don't know, I don't have a good sense for that. Maybe that does work that way, but... like, what's an example? Like, okay, if a card, like, let's say a legendary said, when you play a card with Death Rattle, trigger the Death Rattle when it enters into play. Like, basically, activate Death Rattles as battle cries. Immediately, my head goes, holy shit, what are some good Death Rattles that I could run off as battle cries? Like, can you imagine running that out and then boom, Sylvanas? Just like stuff happens in the brain, and I want more of those. Another card that it just doesn't do this for me is the 8 mana summon all 3 animal companions. That's a cool card, but I don't really. It doesn't beg a certain combination. It doesn't beg things happening with other cards. I mean, an example I love to bring up all the time with Magic the Gathering is Grizzly Salvage. 1 green, 1 black, look at the top 5 cards of your library, put a land or a creature in your hand, and dump the rest in your graveyard. What would be a deck that has a lot of graveyard interaction? It starts to tug at, like, how a possible interaction could look. Yeah, I might see play in Standard, because, you know, you can get to fetch a land or a creature, and if you use the graveyard, you know, this thing starts to tug at me. And actually, I'm curious, while we're on break, if you could post the most interesting Whispers of the Old God cards from your perspective. I would love to see them and talk about them. Let's do that. We're on a break, yo.